And welcome back to the Waffle Wednesday Club. So this week in development for Mechamind, we took our basic enemy AI from this dumb, stupid little dummy who just knows how to very basically pathfind and rub his face on the player, to this terrifying crab thing that is just destroying all of the terrain. So I wanted to give a quick, just kind of rundown of the state that it's in. So if I turn this guy on, in an earlier video I had these guys, and they're functional as like a really basic enemy. Really lame sprite. They have like a little flashlight added on them. So currently these guys, and you can see them over there, are running off a very basic A-star pathing algorithm. Once they get in range to where they can raycast, so they can line of sight see me, they stop A-star pathing and they just lock on and try to drag into me. And you can see that's not so graceful, because you can see he can see me right now, but his collider is still partially occluded, so he just runs into a wall. Very basic, just wanted to give something to, you know, run around the environment. We're gonna fully rework this. So I've done a little bit so far, so I'm going to go ahead and disable this guy. I have it's going to look very similar because it's in a very close state right now. I have this new enemy, and if you look on the right side here, the main improvement is just that I've made it a little bit more modular, and it's going to get much better from here. But I've made basically scriptable objects that just define its movement and attack behavior. I'm going to hopefully make this as modular inside the inspector as possible, so that I can fully define their behavior without having to just continuously rewrite code. But if I turn this guy on, he doesn't have a light on him, but yeah, he's much faster, which is just a float that I haven't set in there. But he's just A-star pathing to me in a very simple way. Kind of crooked, actually. But he doesn't have any line of sight or anything like that. He is just finding an algorithm to get to the square that I'm on. Right now that's all he does. But we're gonna go ahead and flash cut forward to where I've implemented more things, hopefully. Doop doop. This is basically how it's evolved to how it makes decisions and paths. So the navigation rules are, I have a target, how do I get there? And it's got each rule has a set of conditions. So has clear approach is like, will my collider fit just straight there to the enemy? If so, it'll beeline. Is it within a certain configured range? So it'll basically go down the set of rules until it finds one it can execute. So if it can't beeline, it'll say, are they just in general within a range? If so, I'm going to A-star there. I'm going to just find a path. And the other thing is how it selects what it's getting to, because it's not always just pathing directly to the player transform. Sometimes it's like, I last saw the player here, or maybe I want to go back to my spawn location. What rules do I use to select what I'm doing now? So if it has a line of sight and within range of a active player, then it sets that as a target. If this isn't true, have I seen an enemy recently? If so, I'm going to go to the last known enemy location. So this is just generally going to tick true until that timeout happens. And then it'll be like, oh, well, I should return to spawn location. But yeah, it's kind of a... I'm curious if there's a built-in Unity, like, graph or like a graphical way to do this. But I've basically made a state-based machine. But yeah, it's functional. It's got a little bit more. But yeah, we're gonna rock and roll on and just keep developing. And welcome back. So there's a couple updates. It is slow going on this. So I've got a basic animation now. So you can see I basically just gave him the hexapod walking animation that I just kind of stole from the system for the player from a couple videos ago. So I'm going to keep it with this right now. I clearly need to make new sprites so they fit appropriately, but I'm pretty content with how that's going. I'm going to polish it up a little bit, but beyond that, we've made a couple changes to how the actual pathing works, including the memory. One thing we've added is you can see if I reload here, he saves his memory of his last objective, so he's trying to path home. And also we have like a view range that's baked into the enemy perception now. The other thing that took a fair amount of time is if I pop over here, you can see we have other enemies spawning. So I have a feature now that is spawning these guys around. You can see he's making his way back to his spawn location. So I kind of did the spawn location to test like they're guarding something, but it's pretty flexible in that I can have them have a location that they are, you know, kind of think of as home. I do have to fix... There's another guy over there. I do have to fix the spawning location. Currently it doesn't actually check terrain, so they're just spawning in walls. But yeah, looking pretty good. Next steps are exciting. Next steps are going to be weapons on them. I think I'm going to start with a basic projectile gun, because that's the system that we've worked out for the player, so similar to the walking animations, I can port it over. But I also need to work out like a reasonable kind of melee attack looking system. I don't really know how to make them represent a melee attack, because nothing really has arms yet. I'll probably do basically a gun that spawns one really local, like really close range slash projectile, so it'll be coded very similar to a ranged weapon, just with a very narrow range. But yeah, looking pretty good. I can head back up here. Oh, I also don't have stats on them yet, so he doesn't have any collider or health or anything like that. Yeah, he's crawling around all spooky like. Hello and welcome back. So I've given the robots guns. The robots needed guns, and now they've got guns. I've over the course of this have like just given them kind of some sprites that I've just had lying around. So he's a little hacked together now, but I gave him the miniguns, and it's kind of frightening because I'm pretty sure if I let him just do this, he's gonna tear the environment apart. Yep. But yeah, he's got crab legs, this garbage sprite I made ages ago, and also 2 miniguns. Oh, he doesn't see me anymore. I need to add like some position clearing for when they get close to a goal. But yeah, mecha crab, pretty cool. So the system for them is it's very similar to the player, where they like assemble and they, you know, have a system of animators that I've made. The main difference being that for the player, it's like fully automated. I have to have a system where the item just defines how the player creates. For the enemies, I've made them a little more manual, so I have to go in and manually make an enemy, but then they spawn everywhere, so you get a lot of... For the design work I have to put in, it's not too hard for how much it takes to make a new enemy. Like, I have to go manually position all their anchors and stuff. I could make this better later. There's some points I need to upgrade in general, but I could make this much better later in that I could make it automated, similar to how the player is, so they'd basically be player models just with an enemy AI system controlling their inputs, which is, I think, the ideal thing, but it's quite a bit of work to set that up. And I don't really mind like the amount of effort it would take to tailor make some enemies. But if I did do that, I could have like fully randomized enemies, which would be really cool. So I don't know, we might come back to this, but right now I'm pretty happy with Mecha Cannon Crab. Is pretty cool. All right, thanks for tuning in for this week's development of Mechamind, where we've worked on our enemy AI systems. This is what we're looking at right now, but they're really modular, so later when we do just a development phase, we can make more sprites and make more behaviors. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. Follow along. Next week, we're going to be doing basically cleanup. So I just have a bunch of bugs and a bunch of just little things that I've wanted to fix that I've been taking notes on, and I'm weirdly excited for just doing a week of bug fixing. I think there's a lot to be improved on just by cleaning up a lot of, like, one example is these like lighting artifacts. But yeah, Next week we're doing cleanup. I am super jazzed for that. It's going to be a fast video that is just going to be, here's a problem and now it's fixed. But yeah, super excited. Thanks for checking out the video, and check back next week.